and welcome back to the Shoogly Shed. I'm Ewan. This is going to be a little start on the side panels for the Vmax. Since I saw you last, I've actually fabricated a second metal seat pan. The original one is over there behind me. The reason for that is basically John had this idea where, because this is going to be a daily rider but also a show bike, saddles are obviously something that's like gets worn, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but we want to spend quite a bit of money getting a really nicely upholstered seat for this bike, and that's probably going to be like the show seat, so the seat that will go on the bike when the bike goes to bike shows. Fingers crossed it's good enough to get into bike shows, but that's the idea anyway. And then we'll get one seat that's a little bit more like standard upholstered, which John can use in a day-to-day riding. We can like carve that foam and maybe like spend a little bit more on good foam and things like that, try and make it really comfortable for day-to-day riding, and then, like I say, spend a bit of money on really fancy upholstery for a show seat. Anyway, yeah, that's basically the backstory there. So the good thing about having one fabricated already is that I could pull templates from that one out of cardboard, you know, draw around them onto steel, cut out the steel, and this one took about half the time to fabricate. So it felt like a big job to make two, but it's done now, and I'm glad that we're gonna basically have that option to have switch in and out the seats. So that aside, side panels. Right, side panels are the last kind of rear section fabrication that I need to do. There might be a few bits and pieces, but like major kind of bodywork wise, that's kind of it. That was the cowl, seat pan, and now the side panels. Now, I've said this a number of times, but just in case you've missed an episode, the petrol tank is in here, not at the top like a lot of bikes, it's down here. So this kind of needs to encapsulate the petrol tank, but I also want to try and, well, match it into the shape of the frame, but then also pull from, if you remember, the mesh that we used on the radiator guard, and I've also used some of the infills for the intakes, the kind of faux intakes at the front. So yeah, trying to tie in the side panels to the other aesthetics that I've gone with on the bike so far. The original side panels were mounted from these two tabs here. Probably going to try and utilise these because they're in quite a convenient place. This one's going to have like a cutout from it for the rear master cylinder to be in position. Obviously it used to be in here where we've moved it for moving the foot pegs, so it's there now. This one's going to have to kind of come around that. Aside from that, yeah, I need to basically get a piece of steel the right shape that I want, and then think about the finessing. That's the two side panels cut out of cardboard. Obviously this one's got the cutaway section for the brake master cylinder at the back. Now, I don't know, I need to figure out how to finesse these a bit, and also incorporate that mesh I was talking about. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that, but I think the way I work best is by kind of visualising when things are on the bike. So I'm going to draw these out into some steel, cut them out, shape them a bit, bolt them on, and then maybe kind of start to stand back and have a wee look and see if I can come up with some sort of finessing. They say that auto design, like designing cars and bikes and stuff, is all about flow. I don't know. There's a whole sort of philosophy and stuff surrounding auto design, but flow is kind of the main takeaway, and that's kind of what I've tried to go for here. I was trying a couple of different shapes, and yeah, nothing was working for me. I've had a little bit of a chin wag with John about his kind of ideas with it, and I think we've landed on quite a nice compromise is the wrong word because we're both pretty pleased with it. A nice solution maybe then is picking out lines. So obviously this is kind of the line of the frame, and that flow up here is quite important. So trying to mimic the underside of the frame here, this line coming in down there, sort of mimicking this flow of the frame as well, capturing this, bringing it back from that kind of fat triangle almost into a point, mimics the shape of the cowl and also mimics the shape of the intakes a little bit. So quite liking this kind of idea. We're going to refine it a little bit and then probably cut this out and put mesh in behind it, the same mesh that we've used for the radiator grille, like I said. That ties it into another part of the bike, but also visually makes this a little bit lighter because it's quite a big chunk of steel there. Obviously it'll all get painted and stuff as well, but that's kind of the idea. So what I'm going to do now is take this off the bike, maybe draw like a final shape, cut that out, and then get some mesh in there and see how it all looks. Right, with one done, I've got to do the other side. Tricky bit here is making sure that they are symmetrical. So I'm going to pull the shape from this one and mirror it obviously onto this side. We're running out of time today though, so we'll come back to that tomorrow. So with the side panels complete, that sort of wraps up this section of fabrication, the rear. It's been a bit of a journey. Cowl, it's the base of the cowl. Obviously everything just needs that last little bit of fine tuning and detailing. This is all going to get body worked and painted, so you know, I'm not too fussed about the little dents and crevices because that's all going to get sorted by the painter. Side panels are going to get powder coated, all of it black, including the mesh. Just visually takes away some of the weight of them. Just now, because they're kind of like polished metal or bare metal, they look quite bulky, but they'll blend in a little bit more when they're the rest, you know, the same colour as the rest of the bike almost. Yeah. Aside from that, pretty pleased with my fabrication progression on this build, because that's definitely probably the most challenging fabrication I've ever done. You know, these metal seat pans and these strange shapes, never done a cowl before. Have I done side panels before? Yeah, I've done side panels before, but not anywhere near as complicated or as neat and as well finished as these. So yeah, pleased with my progression. I think, as with all these jobs, if I'm improving every time, that's my goal. That's the main driving force behind this, is just progression and improvement. Anyway, as usual, please do give me a like, leave me a comment, and please subscribe to the Shoogly Shed channel. Closing in on 2,000 subscribers actually, which is mad. It feels like only yesterday I hit 1,000. So yeah, thank you for everyone's continued support. It's really cool, and you know, just having that little audience behind me to support as I tinker away in my shed is, yeah, it's really awesome, and it does mean a lot to me. So hopefully see you in the next episode. Take care. Goodbye.